जब तक है संसार अमर है राम भरत का प्यार, अमर है राम भरत का प्यार। सुना भरत ने हुआ राम को जैसे ही वनवास, दौड़े दौड़े पहुँच गए वो वन में राम के पास। राम के बदले न था भरत को राजपाट स्वीकार, अमर है राम भरत का प्यार, अमर है राम भरत।
सहना भवतु सहनौ पुनत्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। We have been studying about the phenomenon of birth and death. So what is the phenomenon? Firstly, it seems quite obvious that if you die, you're dead. So why should you even consider that there is any possibility other than this? What was the reason to even consider it? So the reason to consider it is because in nature we see cycles, right? Everything is sort of going on. Every birth is a death. Every death is a birth. There's these cycles going on, and they go on beautifully. There is no sort of what should I say, break in it. There's a harmonious movement on. So should we then assume that in the case of a being, it finishes, end? That's it, the end. Like a movie, it ends. Given that we usually follow the principle of yatha pinda tatha brahmanda, given that we usually follow that, let us examine whether there would be any possibility of something after death. Please understand that in this chapter, there is no practical stuff for you. We are only theoretically understanding whether it is a possibility or not. Now, don't say for everything that happens, oh, my last janma this and my future janma that. Let us develop the habit of thinking about my moment now instead of going to past janmas and future janmas. Okay, the reason we talk about this for philosophical completeness, not for practical use. Now, every time something happens, you say, oh, suppose Mahesh misses some deadline. Then he says, oh, then my past janmas, karmas are catching up with me. Mahesh never misses deadlines, but suppose he does ever. And then he says, oh, this is my last janma's karma. Please do not start anything like this. We will explain nothing with past janma, and we will explain nothing with future janma. Let us concentrate our attention on this janma. But having said that, for philosophical completeness, let us understand whether that possibility exists. So, first reason to examine that possibility is that life goes in cycles, and therefore it seems difficult to think of this coming to an abrupt end like that. Okay, that's your reason number one. Now, let's examine this further. Now, we have sufficient reason to examine. Let us examine. Okay, come on. Who will read the next paragraph? Mahesh, you'll read it?
Yeah, I'll read it.
You're muted, Mahesh.
Sorry. Some believe that when a person dies, nothing remains, that death is the end of the personality, and that there is no trace of him thereafter. Others disagree with this view. They do not consider death as a finality. They believe in the continuity of life, and that the present incarnation is only a link in the chain of his entire life. Yet others posit the existence of imaginary realms of heaven and hell, where they believe humans go after death. These beliefs are not based on rational analysis and derivation. Instead, you must collect relevant data, study them carefully, and draw intelligent conclusions from them. Only then would you get a clearer idea of the phenomenon of birth and death. So there are various perspectives on what happens after death, but they are not based on rational analysis and derivation. We need to get into that before understanding the phenomenon.
Okay, very good. Can anybody tell me in one word, just one word, what is this paragraph against? One word, please.
Superstition.
Okay, okay, superstition is fine. You got the idea. Can you give me a better word?
Blind
Dogma?
faith or blind belief.
Yes, very good. Beliefs. We all believe. Some people say, do you believe in reincarnation? Yes, I believe in reincarnation. Do you believe? No, I don't believe. No, I don't believe in reincarnation. I believe in hell and heaven. You'll go to hell and heaven. Please, we are not discussing beliefs. If you have a belief, don't come to philosophy. Because philosophy is very unkind towards beliefs. It's very sad, but philosophy does not give your belief any value whatsoever. So don't tell us about your belief. If you want to do belief, then philosophy will simply keep quiet. If you believe, you believe. Now, मैं क्या करूं? So if you want to analyze it, now that is where the whole art of philosophy comes into play. So if you've already concluded it is there, it is not there, it is there, but it is not coming back to planet Earth, but going to other things like heaven and hell and other lokas. Okay, you have to put all that aside. You don't have to give up your belief if you have something. But for the study of philosophy, please put it aside for the moment and let us analyze it from the scratch. Okay, so otherwise, you get up suddenly and say, I don't believe. What do you mean, I don't believe? We are not discussing anybody's belief. We are only going to analyze it, right? Now, I'm sorry to be strict about that because I can't help it. In philosophy, we cannot discuss what I believe and what I don't believe. Your belief is your personal issue. Analysis we can do together. Okay, next paragraph. Who will read? Taranjit, you are new. You have a question.
Yeah, hi, Janki. Yeah, I am new, but I have been listening to your sessions quite some time, and I have watched all the previous videos, right?
Oh, okay.
So just I have one thought on this paragraph, if you can help me understand that. So we said that rational analysis has more weightage or value than the beliefs, right? So now,
Not really. I didn't
okay,
say that. I said if you have a belief, there's nothing we can do about it. But if you're willing to analyze, we can analyze together. Not giving anything more or less weightage. We're just saying belief now. Anybody has a belief, so now main kya karu? Keep your belief. But analysis we can do together. That's what it is. Are you
okay.
in a position to switch on your video?
Sorry, I actually have this laptop of my son. This is having some issues in camera. Next time I will definitely have my own laptop. So
Okay.
sorry about it. Yeah.
No problem.
Okay. Thank you.
So you can go ahead with your question, but we're not giving it weightage or less weightage or more weightage. We're just saying we don't do it.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Right? So it's a very important. I'm glad Taranjit asked, because sometimes when we say things, it appears like we are saying this is more important or that is less important. Philosophy has no opinion at all. Please realize that philosophy is a very dry and boring fellow. He has no opinion on anything. All he does is he analyzes. So he doesn't say, should I have faith? You want to have faith, you have faith. Should I analyze? You want to analyze, you analyze. No views, no opinions, no suggestions, no orders, no commands, no advice, nothing. That is why nobody wants to come to philosophy. It's because they say, Acha Baba, tell me. So finally what? Tell me what to do. Philosophy never answer that question. So, but we answer it sometimes. Don't get frightened. We do answer it sometimes.
Sorry,
But
one thought came. Sorry. So are we saying that a belief that is based on rational analysis is better than a belief which is having no rational analysis?
or you think about it yourself. Suppose I say, Milind is your father. Suppose I say this. You may believe it or you may not believe it. But if your belief had to stand any grounds, the most natural question you will ask is,
Why do you say that?
how, on what basis? Why? How suddenly? I've never met Milind in my life. I don't know him from Jack Adams. For all I know, you are older than him. I don't know what your age is. So how? But when you say my parents, whoever your father is or your mother is, you say they are my parents. So why do you say that? Because they have been with you since childhood, because they have paid for your education, they have brought you up, they keep worrying about you, they ask you khana khaya kya, sweater dala kya. They show all the what should I say, all the indications of parenthood. So you have good reason to believe. But is this belief based on reason? No, because if you really, really wanted to know, you'll have to do a DNA analysis to check, are they my parents or not? For all you know, you may have got exchange in the hospital. But you have a faith, you have a belief that these are my parents. And that belief stands on some grounds. They're not random. Like somebody tells you, in the middle of the night, find a black cow. उसका दूध निकालो. उस दूध का घी बनाओ. Then you burn that ghee. Then you take that, whatever burnt ghee you have, then you take that black thing and you put it on your eyes. And all your stomach ailments will be cured. What? What just happened? Right? So now, would you accept that? Or would you accept what your doctor told you? Even when your doctor tells you do this and your stomach ailment will be gone, you also take it on faith. But why do you have faith in him? Maybe he has cured you in the past. Maybe you can see he's done his MBBS. So you see the difference between these two conditions?
Yeah, sometimes they say, sometimes
one
they say,
second, Kalyan, 1 second. Let
Oh, sorry.
Taranjeet finish.
Sorry.
Taranjeet, you're okay?
Yeah. So it seems that sometimes faith takes a leap that goes beyond the rationality,
It does.
right? Yeah.
But if it doesn't have if your airplane of belief takes off without the runway of rationality, then you will have an Ahmedabad tragedy, because you don't know at all whether this is true or false. There's no attempt to know this.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it is right. They are both complementary, right? They support each other, right? You take a leap of faith and then you find a reason for it. And when you find a reason, you take a leap of faith.
For
Like
the leap of
they
faith.
complementary, they are steps of the ladder to reach somewhere, right? So we will have to have both.
You have to be very careful with these things.
Right.
Because if you say they are steps of a ladder, it is very possible that just because you believe it, you start seeing it. So
Exactly.
whatever I believe, it becomes true in my eyes. Let's say I believe that money makes the world go round, for instance, then जो भी हो जाएगा, I will say, see, इसके पास पैसे हैं. Suppose
Exactly. Yes.
So you will start justifying that belief. So if your first step of reason is not right, then after that, just it's general chaos.
Yep.
So you have to be very careful with these things.
Yes, agree. Thank you.
Yes, confirmation bias. That's correct. Ajay Kasote. Yes, Kalyan.
No. I was just saying, whether you asked whether we see the difference between the two. I was about to say yes.
Okay, all right. Then somebody else, excuse me. Somebody else had raised their hand. Prashant, you wanted to say something? Prashant L.
Sorry, that was my mistake.
Okay, no problem. All right. So, very carefully, we will analyze this and you decide for yourself whether you would like to accept this analysis as a rational analysis or not. You're most welcome to reject it, should you find good reason to reject it. But whether you accept it or you reject it, it must be based on good reason. Now, who will read the next paragraph?
Shall I, Janki ji?
Please.
There is another strange phenomenon concerning death. Though death is inevitable and everyone knows that all living beings are certain to die, none believes in it in practice. Young or old, healthy or unhealthy, even the terminally ill feel that death is far away. It is a wonder that nobody practically believes in death. Even at a ripe old age, people keep amassing wealth, enlarging their worldly relations, behaving as though death would never take hold of them. Intellectually, they may conceive, but apart from a practical point of view, they ignore their imminent end. It seems paradoxical. On the one hand, a person is so certain of his end, the very thought of death sends a cure through his entire frame. His body turns cold at the mere mention of death, while on the other hand, it does not seem to bother him at all. He writes poetry, flourishes his art portraying death. What could be the reason for this paradox? How is it that the looming danger of death does not actually disturb his life? Everyone expects to live on and on without being concerned about the end. The reason for this innate assurance of longevity is the immortal nature of self within. Every human being is quintessentially the self. That being so, its immortal nature colors his material layers, which makes his individuality assume a sense of immortality and keeps him free from the thought of death. Here, the author is talking about the strange phenomenon with regard to death. Everybody knows that death is inevitable and they are all scared of it. But in their daily life, they behave as if it is not something connected to them and go on with their daily work. This is because of our innate feeling of the mortality of the self.
Because we are actually immortal. The
Yeah.
self is immortal.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So, very, very strange phenomenon. You may have all noticed that though we are frightened of death, we don't seem to have any belief in it. Everybody believes. So, ask anybody in this class, how long do you think you're going to live? Almost everybody comes up with a figure somewhere 20 years away. You ask a 40-year-old, they think 60. You ask a 60, they think 80. You ask a 80-year-old, they'll think 100. You ask a 20-year-old, they'll think 40. Say, after 40, kya bacha hai? So everybody has this sort of feeling that this is, and it never, you never think it could be this moment. It could be tomorrow. I may not wake up tomorrow. Never think like that. So this is analysis that Ramatirtha has made. Why is it that nobody seems to believe that we are going to die? And that's one of the things the scriptures also tell us. Do every act as if it was your last. Because they have to teach us about death, to remember the real and important things of life. So why do we not believe? Because we are the self. And the self within is immortal. I am truly immortal. That is why I think so. So as long as I realize that I'm immortal, I realize in the sense I know deep down within myself, in some kind of figurative manner, I do not believe in death. This body can die, not I. So even in our unconscious feeling, we see some kind of belief in continuity.
So,
Yes, Dinky.
so Janki ji, would this not also apply to happiness? Like, I am the immortal self, Nitya Ananda. So then, why am I, suffering when I'm not worried about that? Because somewhere I know I am the immortal self. So it should apply also to the feeling of joy that it's okay. What's happening is temporary. It will come and go, transient. I am actually from inside. I'm from within. I am actually the Ananda.
Yeah,
We
you
can
do think
apply
so.
the same.
Yes, people do think so. They do think that they are happy. In their most miserable conditions, they think they're happy. And you will see for yourself that most people will tell you that they're happy. Very few people admit to unhappiness. They claim happiness. Everybody claims happiness. When you ask a person, suppose a person is very angry and he's shouting, and you tell that person, calm down, what will that person say to you? I'm calm. They believe
That's denial. Then they are in denial, no?
no,
If
so
I'm
whether
very
you're denial or not, the same theory. You're asking me if you feel that about the self, your immortality, why don't you feel it about your happiness? Of course, you feel it about your happiness too. You feel it about your perfection. The self is perfect. So you attribute the qualities of the self to this body, mind, intellect. The self is perfect. So you think I'm perfect. Means my body, mind, intellect is perfect. The self is the most attractive thing. So when you look at a photograph, which is the face you will see first? Always your own. So all the attributes of the self You unconsciously superimpose upon the body, mind, and intellect.
So from that, my question is that the right thing to do? Like, I'll keep on saying, I'm calm, I'm happy, everything's okay, I'm living in a fool's paradise, or I do not want to face the truth, or I'm in denial, or is it actually that I'm not consciously aware that I'm the immortal self? It's
Yes, that is what he's saying. So why do people do this stupid thing? He is saying you're going to die, right? That's a fact. But you're in denial of it. So why are you in denial of it? You are
because,
miserable, but you're in
because
denial of it. So why are you in denial of it? That's the question he's answering. You as a psychologist would like to say, oh, you're unhappy. He'll tell you, I'm happy. Why are you interfering?
is it this desire to always project that my life is perfect, I am perfect, everything's good, and
The
although in
question is, why is it that you feel like that? That is the question he's answering.
Hmm.
Why do you want to project perfection? Why don't you say, okay, I'm an imperfect
because,
being?
because actually our essence is that perfection, immortality, love, happiness, joy.
So you ask anybody, there was this man, what was his name? Al Capone. He killed one police officer because that police officer gave him a speeding ticket. He just took out his gun and shot him. Like that. He was a gangster in Chicago. And then when he was caught and he was brought to court, his statement over there was, within me is a heart that would not harm a fly. He genuinely thinks he's a loving person. Now the question is, why does he think like that? Everybody, no matter how hateful you are, you believe you're a loving person because your nature is all love. He's not condoning it, he's explaining why you're feeling like that.
Thank you, Jan.
Yes, class monitor. Class monitor? Why monitor?
Because if anybody needs help in changing their names, which nobody's taking, I put that.
Oh, okay. All right. But now monitor is like as if it's a Manit's class.
Yeah,
So
so I
you
should
can
say
make
class assistant. That would be a better word, maybe.
how about class coordinator or
Coordinator. Okay, that sounds even better.
something.
So Janki ji, here we spoke about a paradox. So there are two sides to the paradox. One is that disregard to the fact that you may not be alive the next moment. And that comes from the fact that you are the self and eternal. But the other side of the paradox is the fear of death. What explains that? Why is that not covered by the self?
Why is that not covered by this?
I mean, with the explanation of the self, that we are essentially the self explains the fact that we don't believe we could be alive then.
Yeah, but why do you think that should be covered by the self? And if you want to cover it by the self,
No,
it is.
So what fear? Okay, the question then should be, what explains the fear of death? Because if you are essentially the self, and that's the explanation for the disregard for the fact that we would be dead the next
Yes, but
moment.
think it through. No, don't repeat the question. Think it through. If somebody, what would be a very frightening thing for you? Think in your own life. Suppose I say, you will lose all your money, or you will lose your head. Which one would you choose? Lose your head means figuratively, not literally. Which one would you choose? You'd lose your sense, yeah, your intellect, your intelligence, or lose all your money. Which one would you choose?
The first one. Lose all
You
the
would
money.
choose to lose the money, right? Now, why? Because for you, the most important thing is your identity. Everything else you can lose, but you can't lose that sense of self. So, from that, I cannot lose my sense of self, comes the fear of death. because you think you're going to lose yourself, which is not possible. But the most inherent thing in us is our identity, because you are the self. And you cannot think of losing that. That's impossible. You'd lose anything, but you will not lose being Omkar or your sense of identity. That's why even the spiritual path frightens so many people. You feel, I'm going to lose it. You don't get it that you're actually going to get your identity, not lose it. So death is coming from that same phenomenon, loss of identity, which you can't because you are the self. So that's your most inherent thing. You can't bear to lose that.
I'm not sure I understood. The fear of death comes from the sense of identity, is what you're saying.
From the in your life, even though you don't really realize it, the most important thing to you is your identity. And fear of death means fear of loss of identity. So why is the fear of loss of identity such a big thing? Because you are the self. That is the one thing you cannot lose, that identity. What is most inherently you cannot lose.
So why would that not explain the disregard for the disregard for the fact that you may not be alive the next moment? Even that could be
coming from two different aspects of your recognition of the self. One is coming from the fact that you are the self, so you're immortal. You unconsciously attribute the immortality to this body, mind, intellect. That is one aspect. The other aspect is what is most inherent in you is your sense of identity. So that is the self. But you're putting that on the body, mind, intellect. You're reflecting it on the body, mind, intellect, and therefore the fear. Oh my God, I'm going to lose the most essential thing. If you actually came to that, you'd be willing to lose anything but that. You don't know who you are anymore. Yes, Taranjit?
Yeah, hi, Janki. Just wanted to get your view on how the feelings are related to a belief. In the sense that we just talked of the paradox, right? That people are dying, but we still have an impression or belief that I am immortal, I will still stay on and all those things. So is that kind of a thinking based on some belief, or it is a feeling that is universal, in the sense that even Abrahamic religions, they will say, no, this is the only life. So if I have that belief system, I will just feel that this is the only life, right? So how the feeling and a belief are related to each other means I can believe on one life because it was taught to me and I feel that, right? So it may not be paradoxical in that scenario then.
No, even in the Abrahamic religions, you are going to continue, no?
Yeah, but life is one, right? I am not, it is something else. So the point was that how the feeling that we are saying is universal, that self will extend beyond body. Is it really universal feeling, or it is based on the belief system that was taught to me?
No, it's universal. Because even if you are brought up in another faith, which says that you're going to die, but then you're going to die and what? You're going to go to heaven, you're going to go to hell, you're going to revive and be revived on the judgment day.
Yeah.
It's all continuity, no? Your only problem could be with an atheist, not from anybody in any faith. Unnecessarily, I'm putting thoughts in your head.
No, yeah, you got, actually you got the point. Like so means that feeling may also be driven by a belief, right? As you just mentioned, atheist, if he doesn't believe in anything, so nothing, right? Everything starts at birth, everything dies. I don't believe in hell, I don't believe in anything. So I will not have that feeling. For me, it is not paradoxical at all.
No, but even the atheist doesn't think he's going to die now.
Yes.
So
At
the
present
same-
moment, yes. Present moment, he will not think.
So he doesn't have any what the text calls practical belief. I mean, one thing is to just say that, oh, I'm going to die. We all say it, we all know it. If I talk about it too much, everybody who's over 50 will start getting terrified. And because, oh my God, why are you talking about death? When you're young, you don't care. You don't think you're ever going to die. When you're 50, you also don't care. But then if someone talks about it, you won't let them talk because that fear is now starting. But even an atheist doesn't practically believe in his death. Like he doesn't, the thought that I can die this moment, which is a fact of life. Where is it with us? It's not there. No atheist, no theist, nobody has it. Universal.
Right.
Not coming from a belief.
Yeah. That belief is universal, that at this moment I am going to continue. That belief is there, yes. Okay. In that sense, yeah, it is paradoxical. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Momita, Swami Ramatirtha analyzed the phenomena of living like we will not die and posited this. That because we are immortal self, we do not think of death. Or is there a Vedic basis for this attitude? You mean, did Swami Ramatirtha come up with this original thought, or is there a Vedic basis for this human attitude? I suppose if you want a basis, I don't know whether he came up with it originally or whether he took it from the Vedas. But if you do wish to take it from the Vedas, you can take it from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which talks about you do not love your husband for the husband's sake, you love him for the self. Do not love your wife for the wife's sake, you love her for the self. So basically, this inherent, what should I say? The inherent that you are the self and that your attitudes are coming from the fact that you are the self is definitely a Vedic concept. Whether death specifically has been mentioned, I don't know where he got it from. He says it in his lecture. So
also, Janki ji, when we say we identify, we are saying that we identify as I am. That is the identity. That I exist. Not I exist as so and so, but I exist. That is the identity.
That's right.
Okay, and it is only the more intelligent among us who will actually ponder death. Most of us will not notice it. It takes a Buddha to actually worry about something.
Just don't worry.
Yeah, Buddha means Siddhartha.
A Siddhartha to worry about something.
Buddha won't worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
A Siddhartha. So all of us, we are starting the spiritual path. We're thinking about these things. We want, as of current advice, we are in the same situation as Siddhartha. That we are wondering, like, what on earth is going on? Now we have to take it up with the consistency that he took it up, and then we hopefully will become the Buddha. Prashant, is identity same as character? No. Identity is only I am. That is, I exist. I am. That I am there at all. That is identity. Ajay Kasotia, Gigi Visha, will to live, inherent in all life. Yes, that's the Sanskrit term for it. Now, Tinky, are you raising your hand? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So you said in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it says we love others for ourselves because inherently we are the self. But if we take this concept of self that is in Advaita Vedanta, then there is no other. There is only that ekatvam, that one self manifested as many. Then I need nothing. From if I am the self, inherently, then I am complete, whole, paripurna, what they say. Then I don't need anything from anybody. I don't need love, joy, anything, because I am already filled with that. I'm complete.
Correct.
So then what is this statement trying to tell us?
That you don't know that you're paripurna. So you are looking at your husband, give me the paripurnata.
Okay.
I'm looking at my wife, give me the paripurnata. I'm looking at Pashu, he says, look at your animals. That time and this time also is that you don't love your animals, you don't love your pets for the sake of the pet, you love the pet for the sake of yourself.
So that means we are looking to them to complete us. We feel incomplete as a jiva. Thank you.
Right. So coming back to what we were talking about. So birth and death, what have we learned about birth and death? That firstly, there's a cycle. Secondly, that there is, and since there's a cycle, we can consider it. Then now we are considering it, we are not believing in it. If now we are going to start studying the theory of reincarnation, underline please the word theory. Theory of reincarnation doesn't claim to be a law. Theory of reincarnation. It claims to be a theory because it is something that cannot be proved. I mean, proved in the sense of, okay, now this boy is born, let us find out. Now Deepraj is here. Let us all find out what was he in his last janma. What is he going to be in the next janma? Ye sab nahi kar sakte. Please don't go there. We are going to go through a logic of this. And it is for philosophical completeness. Because if you remove all these things from the philosophy, you will have to create a lot of other problems in other places. So therefore, you have to go with it. Now, you don't go with it, you analyze it. Because if you are able to prove that reincarnation is not there, you can go back and disprove everything. So therefore, we are going to analyze it. It's an important thing for our analysis. Because if you remove reincarnation, you will have to remove self-realization as well. Because the two will have to go together. So therefore, very carefully, let us not go into beliefs because this is about our life, but analyze this carefully as to whether all of this put together makes sense. This is not a game, this is our life we are talking about. So we have to very, very carefully go through this. Right? So let's start the theory of reincarnation.
Janki,
Yeah.
You said if we remove reincarnation, we have to remove self-realization also. What does that mean?
That means if you can prove reincarnation doesn't exist, you will prove that self-realization doesn't exist.
I didn't understand the correlation.
Think about it. You are born, right? Why are you born? Because of your desires. Correct? What is
Yes.
self-realization? Elimination of desire.
Hmm.
Correct? If by death itself, all desire is going to be eliminated, then what are you doing your sadhana for? But if you have desires left, you have to be reborn.
So to begin with, that would be if you believe that self-realization is the goal of human birth, right?
No. You don't believe anything over here. You go step by step and you try and figure the whole thing as you go. So that you able to see that when you put all the pieces together, there is not a single thing you can remove. If you remove self-realization, you will remove ethics. Because how will you even define your ethic anymore? So when you start studying the philosophy as a whole, you realize it's impossible. You cannot move any of these. I know because I kept trying. I kept saying, okay, this doesn't, suppose let's assume this is wrong. Whole thing falls. You can't remove any portion, even the portions which you know to be true. Anyway, don't go down that. You think about it. We're not going down that discussion because that's a little more complicated for a public class. Here is a more, you come and join the course and then we can take this further.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's continue. Who will read Theory of Reincarnation?
I can read.
Go ahead.
What happens when a person dies? His gross body perishes in that form. The material of the body merges with earth. Science declares that something cannot pass into nothing. The law of indestructibility of matter, the law of conservation of energy states it. The same law would apply to the subtle body as well. The subtle body of the person comprises his thought, feelings, and desires, the resultant of his mental and intellectual forces, his inner energy comprising subtle matter. Applying the same law to the subtle body, you would realize that its energy cannot vanish into nothing at the time of death. In this world, there are innumerable deaths occurring every day and innumerable births. The mental energies of those persons cannot disappear or appear all of a sudden. That would be against the established law of science. So this says that according to the law of conservation of energy, energy or matter cannot come from nothing or cannot disappear into nothing. So similarly, subtle matter at the time of death cannot just vanish, and at the time of birth cannot just appear out of nothing.
Very good. So what is he saying? At the time of death, you know what is happening to the gross body. What is happening? It is right there. You can see it. What happens? You can bury it, you can burn it. The matter of that body will continue to exist. If you bury it, it will become soil, or the whatever worms will eat it. If you burn it, then you will have ash and carbon dioxide that has been released out of it. So that material which made the gross body is conserved. It's not lost. It doesn't just disappear into nothing. Now, what about his subtle body? What about his thoughts, his emotions, his beliefs? What about all his desires, his wants? Did they just come to an end like that? If we accept that they came to an end, then aren't you going against the law of conservation of energy? It end. It has to, in some form, exist. So just imagine a young boy is 25 years old. He's about to get married. The wedding date has been set. The wedding clothes have been purchased. Then he gets cancer. In 2 months, he's dead. He was looking forward to a life with his partner, in his business. So many hopes and aims. What all must that 25-year-old have had? And now he's no more. And what happened to all those? Simply disappeared? Seems difficult, no, to digest this idea that it just simply disappeared. But then you're left with another thing, that if it didn't disappear, what happened to it? If it didn't just simply vanish, what happened to it? That you may not know. But first step in our analysis is, if the gross body at the time of death, the gross body has not vanished, it's there, then what has happened to all these hopes and dreams and desires and everything that he had? And they just disintegrated into thin air? If you claim that they disintegrated into thin air, then don't we run into this problem of how is this energy going to be conserved? It can't just disappear, it has to be somewhere. Then where is it? That we don't know. But this we can, I think, come to that it has to be somewhere. The question is where? So let's see if he has any answer for us. Yes, Taranjeet, you have a question or you're reading the next para?
No, I have a question actually on the last thing.
Hmm.
Disappearance.
Hmm.
So if we consider or take into account what has been said, that this whole world is an illusion, a dream, and all those things, and then make a parallel with the daily experience of a dream. Like if in a dream I have created a mansion, I have visited a mountain, I was doing many things in dream, and when I wake up, suddenly everything vanishes. So if that is happening in my daily life, then at the time of death, those thoughts, those feelings can similarly vanish, right? Or we need to find out what happens to the dream energies.
That you already know. Your thoughts have not disappeared because you woke up.
No, I don't remember anything of my dream. I don't even sometimes don't know if I dreamt anything or not.
True, but all of it is your mind only, no? So it's
Yeah.
not gone, it's still there.
Yeah, but I'm not aware, right, of
So
that.
what? Yeah, the point here is conservation of energy. So what happened to your dream when it closed up? All that energy is in your mind. That we know already. It's a projection of your mind, right? It closes, the dream closes and becomes your mind again.
Yeah, so it probably has no trace of it anywhere. We can't prove it. Is still a theory, right? We can't say whether that dream has a trace or not.
No. Dream as a trace means what? You it wasn't like an actual mountain was created, right?
So similarly, they all Upanishads, all Vedas are saying this is nothing. This itself is a dream. It is a waking dream, right? So if I take a parallel of these two things, then whatever happens to my thoughts, my imagination in the dream, whatever happens to that will happen to my waking dream.
No, you're confusing a few things over here.
Okay.
In the dream analysis, your thoughts are appearing to you as the mountain and the sun and the river and all these things.
Right.
When that mountain and river and all these things close up,
right,
that energy of that dream is maintained in your mind. This is what is happening every day to us. Now, when it comes to discussing that the world is an illusion, okay, and that it all disappears, that self-realization and all, this is what is known as a, can anyone tell me? This is a common fallacy of thinking, which is? You must know your fallacies by heart. Very good, Prashant Nair. It is a confusion of levels. When you're talking from the fourth plane of consciousness, there is no world, and we don't have to explain anything that's happening. When you're talking from the third plane of consciousness, all these explanations come into play. So you cannot talk about illusions, you cannot talk about the oneness of the self, you can't do any of that from here. If there is only one, if there is only the self, then I will say, I don't need to even answer your question. Because then Taranjeet himself doesn't exist, and where is his question? The question only doesn't arise.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So we are not talking from the fourth level, we're talking from the third level. We're talking from our state now.
Yeah, but we are transitioning from physical realm to the subtle body which goes beyond that. So we are transitioning the levels, right?
No, only in the third plane of consciousness. We are not going to go to the fourth plane of consciousness in this discussion, because then it will cause all that confusion that you spoke of. So while we are talking from third plane of consciousness, we have a body, mind, and intellect. The body we can see, mind and intellect we cannot see. So where is it? That's where we're talking from third plane of consciousness. If you talk from the fourth plane of consciousness, There is no body, there is no mind, there is no intellect. So where is the question of reincarnation?
I got your point. So, but my thought was that even the dream is existing in the same level of
No,
consciousness.
no, it's existing in the second level of consciousness. There are 4 levels of consciousness. Number 1 is deep sleep. Number 2 is dream. Number 3 is waking. And number 4 is turiya, the state of realization, the state of the self. So we cannot mix the levels. We have to talk from any one at any time.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Right. Who will read the next paragraph?
Shall I read, Janki ji?
Please take
it. Life is a series of experiences. The progression of life is determined by desires. Desires drive you from one experience to another. In philosophic terms, an experience is dead and another is born at every moment. Thus, your desires drive you through a continuous procession of birth and death. This procession will continue in perpetuity until the desires are eradicated from your personality. Desires are the cause and the experiences of life are the effect. At the moment of death, a person is left with innumerable unfulfilled desires. He may vanish from your sight, but that does not mean that his desires are extinct. The desires have to be eradicated to prevent further manifestation. The cause has to be removed to erase the effect. When the desires are completely exhausted, the cycle of birth and death ends. That is the state of self-realization or God realization. So we go through many experiences in life, and these come from our desires. And each time one experiences, we experience one thing that dies and another one is born because our desires drive us. And this continues, the whole process of life is this. And then like the process of birth and death also will continue till all desires have been eradicated or fulfilled, or we're done. We don't have any desires left. So if I want to erase the effect, the result, then first the cause must go. And when all are exhausted, then there is a state of self-realization.
Okay, very good. But you have to summarize, means you have to at least make it 1/3 of the thing.
Of the whole thing, yeah.
Yes.
So it's our desires that drive us through our experiences. And if there are desires, there is experience and there is life and there is birth and death. When desires are eradicated, the cycle of birth and death is completed. That is self-realization.
Very good.
But as we eradicate desires, aren't new ones created?
Other way around. But that is irrelevant to the current discussion. You cannot eradicate a desire. Only when you create a higher desire, the lower one goes.
Lower one. Thank you.
Mamita, how do we know whether abstinence, not engaging with a desire to gratify it, will not cause further vasanas, as in repression? What is the difference between abstinence and repression? What is the difference? Repression is when you do not allow your desire to manifest. Abstinence is when you have a higher cause and you fulfill the desire in that higher cause, or refrain from that desire because of the higher cause, then it becomes abstinence. So abstinence can be even when you're contacting. By definition.
I didn't get that.
If you have a higher cause and you, in the process of fulfilling the higher goal, you function along the line of that desire, or for the sake of the higher cause, you do not associate with the desire, and in both cases, you're abstaining. Because in both cases, the mind is not involved in the enjoyment.
And the intellect, or can we rather decide to abstain from something which is beyond our level, and then therefore suffer the consequences.
What do you mean something that's beyond our level?
Like sometimes we overreach, overdo something.
Like you eat too much?
No, not like abstain, like as a sort of austerity measure or something.
Oh, you abstain more than is necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you'll be in repression, of course.
But how do we know, like, what is the amount
Because
of?
why did you abstain? Do you have a higher cause for which you're willing to put this aside, or is just some random notion that I can't do this or can't do that?
Even if it is a higher cause, like I have thought that this is my reasoning tells me that this is the way to abstain from something, or I should abstain to this extent. But could it be that I'm not aware of my inability to take it to that level?
But now if it's so general, how can anyone answer this question? If you do anything beyond it, I want to become Wimbledon champion. So then I'm practicing 14 hours a day. And I went from 0 hours to 14 hours, I will collapse. So that means my head is not working. So if I want to do 14 hours, I have to know that, okay, I'll start today with 10 minutes and then build my way up to 14 hours, if at all. Can't just suddenly go from 0 to 14 hours. Obviously, it'll create chaos.
Because actually, no, this actually happens.
Yeah, you're
Sometimes.
actually a lot more precise in your question than this, because yeah, anybody can take on too much and then they shouldn't take on too much. How to know? Only your intellect can tell you, know, what was I doing and what am I doing, and is this a reasonable progression?
How do we distinguish between whether I'm over enthusiastic or I have properly understood?
You don't have to. You do whatever you want. If it seems too much, reduce it. If it seems too little, increase it.
Okay, so even if I first take on too much, then I can always backtrack.
No, I mean, what's to stop you from doing that?
Right. Okay.
Okay, so that's it for today. Adios.